Hey guys, JCB here. I would like to discuss with you on my experience with Lost Sphear. We look into the past with a war in the Plated Era, which later moves over to the present times with Kana waking up from his dream. He hears a knock on his door, only to be greeted by his childhood friend Lumina as she makes a request to find their friend Locke. I found this to be a great start due to events thrown right at us as the curiosity builds on to finding out more. This carries over to the gameplay as we get to control Kanata and the others around the village. We get to speak with the locals as they go on about their daily lives. It's a traditional RPG concept, but it still stands out to show how lively it is, along with the scenery while reaching over to our destination. One cool feature we get to check out right away would be the party chats. I would refer to these being similar to the private chats in the Star Ocean series, whereby the party members would have additional conversation at any point. These often change when main events do occur, as it fleshes out their character dynamics even more on what their thoughts are to the current scenario. Also, they do provide us with hints just in case we don't know where to go next. While making progression, we get to use an overworld map to travel from one place to another. These look beautiful on screen as each new region has its own unique feel due to the environment. We can pick up items along the way, and later on we will be able to travel with a boat and a flying ship that provides that classic feel even further. In other areas we get to visit, it could be filled with monsters on the screen. This eliminates random encounters and gives us the option if we choose to battle. What's good about this is how we position ourselves at the start of the battles, which affects our ATB and momentum here to get a better advantage. The battles are turn-based with the ATB system, as once it's filled up, we can attack with our character just like how it was done with the classic Final Fantasy games. In addition, there is an extra step before we land our attack, as we get to choose where to place ourselves before we do strike. This allows us to attack multiple enemies at a single time, while avoiding getting too close to each other to be affected by group attacks. The battle system gets deeper with the momentum system. This can be applied once our Mia is filled up to time a button press once seeing a blue circle appear around our character that will give us an extra attack or an extra effect if we have equipped a Spirit Knight onto our skills. This layer adds the sublimation of keeping these effects permanently, where we can add additional ones too once it has been mastered. This was the main thing I focused on, as it brought upon many different buffs and debuffs to give us better control during the fights. When the battle is over, we are able to obtain items, cash, and experience for us to eventually level up. Higher levels will increase our stats, however it is done better when we use Spirit Knights onto our weapons and armor, which can be bought at shops. They will also open up a Spirit Knight skill slot at higher levels, which will allow us to equip an additional skill to our arsenal. If that wasn't enough, they will also throw at us the vocal suits at a later point. These mechs provide us better damage and resistance to enemy attacks. At first, they feel very limited due to the VP gauge, but later on it becomes more accessible from further upgrades, and it also unlocks new skills that can really help out in a pinch. With all of these mentioned, these are vital to learn during the boss fights. Each of them differ with their own abilities, in which we would need to understand in order to defeat it. Sometimes armor we find along the way could provide good resistance to their attacks, as for the most part it can be very easy to get a game over if we aren't fully prepared. However, even when saying that, I still enjoy them by having lots of different ways to approach this rather than relying on certain strategies to win. As for the main story, this is one of the best parts to the game, as it is amazing from start to finish. This mainly follows Kanata and the gang recovering places that have been lost by using his abilities to restore it back. I find it easy to follow with its storytelling, which allows the delivery to hit its mark. It's a roller coaster of emotions, as the characters are written well to show their personalities in spectacular fashion. Even though the narrative does drag on further at times, I've always loved that it kept on subject, as this is something that is definitely needed in most modern Final Fantasy games. When it comes to things outside of the main story, there will be a few things to do, such as farming items for new skills and fishing for new ingredients that will open up a new mill with the chefs in towns. Momentum and machine kills become a big help with getting extra items, along with the combodium on finding any items we are looking to get. This expands on the extra things we can do during battle and get extra buffs from the mills we have made. Nearby the end of the game, there will be side quests aimed at each character we get to play as. This looks deeper into their personal problems that they need to take care of. I enjoyed learning more about them, which leads to them getting a stronger resolve for the final battle ahead. At the end of these, we do get rewarded with their final skills, which are their best moves in the game, and final weapons that adds in slightly better stats for better chances of winning. Lastly, I completed this game in around 50 hours as I tried to explore every place I could possibly find. There are post-game events unlocked, which gives us extra challenges, but I was already satisfied with the main game alone from its story that gives us a great conclusion. Overall, Lost Sphear is a fantastic game that tells a compelling story and brings in a classic JRPG formula to the modern world that will show to everyone that Square Enix has never lost their touch at making these games till this day. If any of you guys have any experiences with this game, feel free to share in the comments, and I hope you have a wonderful day.